Are you rethinking your purpose in life? Being centered in a strong spiritual connection is more important now than ever. Hi, I'm Bryn Blankinship, hypnotherapist, international instructor, and author. Each episode, along with Dr. Pat, I'll share my experiences with guiding spiritual regression clients into the afterlife and the soul lessons gained, prompting you to explore your own soul's journey and empowering you by shifting your perception of yourself and your place in this world. I want you to know that you're here by design, not by accident. You are not alone. You are loved. You are here on purpose for a purpose. When you stand in your truth and fulfill your purpose, you support others in fulfilling theirs. If this intrigues you, stay tuned in as we explore.
Welcome, everyone. We've got a great show for you today. It's actually one of the most important conversations I have found in the journey of my own spiritual journey and understanding the divine, understanding that which we cannot see. And it's the epiphany that you get to. And you know, it shows up differently for different people, but it's the epiphany that happens when you realize you have a spiritual team. Bryn is someone that not only helps people understand what we can see, what we cannot see, but the depth and the breadth of who we truly are. And whether we're talking about the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual, the one thing that comes true is that there is a spiritual team working with you. The question mark really is, do you know how to access it? Are you afraid to ask for help? Do you go through your mind thinking that you're all alone? Well, hopefully today, your spirit team or your spiritual team, Bryn is going to take us on a journey to show us what, how, who, and when. Bryn, thank you so much for this. This is so right in my face because I had a moment yesterday. And the moment I had was this incredible clarity. I don't know what else to call it. Clarity on what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, what was most important to do. And sometimes it's not like go climb Mount Everest. Yesterday, it was first rearrange your office. That's what we started to do. But let's talk about the spirit team and the guides and soul advisory counselor that support us. Tell us about this from your perspective, because I've worked with you and you are plugged in. So how can we help people know what to use?
So we're human and we're down here, and sometimes we forget, even though I do this work, it happens to all of us, we forget for a moment, sometimes for longer, that we have help available. So we're trying to work through something and then we're like, oh, let me just stop and let me tune in. So you're not alone. You have a spiritual team that is here supporting you along your path. They are always guiding you. Even if you're not aware of them, they're still there. That's the duality of coming to Earth and being on this planet, right? So they consist of your soul, your guides, your soul advisory council. That is your spiritual team. But you are an extension of your soul here on this planet. Your soul is there participating with them. They're getting everything lined up, just like they were getting everything lined up for today's show on that end, while we were getting in place here and trying to connect and all of that. So you have to understand too, there's great love for the souls that incarnate. They understand how challenging it is. Many of our guides have already been through this. So they are here supporting us because they have moved to a place where now they're helping others and not incarnating the way that we are incarnating. So guides are helping with that. They have compassion and love for us. There is great order in the spiritual realm. It's not all just nothing. It's a lot of something happening there. It's very organized. It makes me think of air traffic control at the airport, and they're like directing people, all right, you go over there and you're going to meet up with this one, and oh, your person is using free will and they've kind of gone off track, so guide, you need to get over there and help that one out, and just be there with them. And they're lovingly guiding us, but we have to ask for help. We're not their puppets. We are here and we receive guidance, but they are not just telling us what to do and we're just going through the motions. It's about us learning and going through experiences as we do this. So they're keeping us on track, even when it doesn't feel like it. And they're also helping us wake up in those moments where it's time for us to wake up and be aware that we have a spiritual team, right? That's them doing that. So sometimes people will feel alone because they're in a chaotic state. They're in low-level emotions of fear, shame, guilt, worry. All of those are low-level emotions that are keeping you disconnected from the spiritual guidance that's available. But they also serve as an opportunity to use those emotions to rise above them and to connect to a spiritual place. Like, sometimes you get down in the dumps, and that's when they come in to help reroute and reconnect, because now you're connecting to them as you're coming out of the funk on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what happened to
So,
me yesterday. It's like, and it's happened to me before. I just got off doing a show with Ryan and we were talking about autoimmune disease, and that's part of my healing journey, of course. And had I not done the show, I don't think I'd even be here today. But starting the show in 2003 and being privy to people that could help me learn and become more aware was nothing I had planned, but it saved my life. And I wanted to just ask you about this for a minute because I don't know if this is common, but I need to be almost shaken into waking, right? It's like shake and bake. It's like I sometimes my team is there, but I'm not paying attention and I need to be shaken. And for me, it was a silly thing that happened Saturday or over the weekend. And it was silly. And I took a fall, literally fell. And what's the good news? I landed on my butt. That's the good news
are
because
you
I know
okay?
how to fall. But it was one of those things that made me stop in my track. And I want to ask you about this because sometimes you don't have to fall. You don't have to fall to talk to your spirit guides. I just want to be clear, right?
Right. Sometimes I think they push us.
I think they did push me,
I'm sitting
literally.
here with a broken toe. I broke my toe last week. And I thought things were going really well. I'm like, this feels really good. I was just noticing how everything just felt so great. And then a few minutes after that, I got rushed and I tripped over something and in my kitchen, and I hit my bare foot on the door jamb, and now I have a broken toe. And it hurts, right? I thought I was slowed down enough, but the message was slow down, slow down. So it's sometimes these falls are because we've got a lot of energy coming through us in the moment. And then sometimes it's to get us to slow down, but there are other ways. So during assessor session, which, that's my thing, soul expression, spiritual regression, this is a way to directly communicate with your spiritual team. And this is a telepathic communication with your soul. And it is a way to talk to and communicate with your soul about your future self. So, to line up and receive and find and follow your soul's guidance. So it is a current life assessment. And often you will meet up with, your spiritual team. So, well, let me not get too ahead of myself. Your spiritual team consists of your soul, your guide, your soul advisory council, It could be archangels, it could be ascended masters. These are master teachers that work with groups of souls, groups of beings. So like Jesus, Buddha, the Christ consciousness works with groups of people simultaneously. And then you also have God, the God source, at the top. Clients in session tend to describe God as being over there and so brilliant of a light that they're not able to access that energy. And then these higher beings, archangels, master teachers, they also have a very brilliant light. So when they're showing up for the client, it can be telepathic, but it's also visual in many cases. And, they're here to support you. So it's a loving connection when they come through. And there's no doubt when they come through what that is, right? And then we're getting communication with the client, maybe in the chair, having communication with several beings from the other side. Their soul advisory council, a guide. If they go before the council, there are several members on the advisory team, as well as a guide or two, and usually one or two in the room with them. So you have a lot of beings helping from the other side, and that's what I call them, your spiritual team.
And I want to ask you about this because we have so many let's just talk about the rules and regulations we have in our own minds for a minute, if we could. And we have these rules and regulations that maybe some of us grew up with. I shared this story with you, Bryn, a while ago. People asked me, well, we heard you talk about getting thrown out of Catholic boarding school at age 6. And you, of course, know the story about that, but the public doesn't. Why did I get thrown out? Hello, age 6, talking to Jesus, not supposed to do that. And so, but it didn't stop me because that experience was real for me. But so often in life, we hold back. And the only way I think to get at that is to get at what's going on underneath. And let's talk about soul expression, spiritual regression right now, because what we're talking about is allowing ourselves in a state of safety, in a state of calm, in a state of peace to let things emerge. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. And if you're having a session with me or someone else, your soul called for that session. Your spiritual team said, it's time for you to do this, right? It's time for you to open up. So, and it happens in stages. But when your team is coming through, it is with compassion. And, it's very interesting what you were sharing about. I was trying to remember back to what more of that story. It's very interesting that this little girl knows, but the adults around her are saying, no, that don't do that. Don't talk about that. We can't talk about this here in a religious setting. But religion is man-made, and we're talking about beyond that. We're talking about spiritual. But you needed that foundation, right? You needed that foundation of that background, that religious background, to get you to where you were going to be today, right? To have a deeper understanding, to start to even try to connect to beings on another level, even though some people may not look at it that way. So, the difference between the different roles that guides play versus the Soul Advisory Council is that the guides will assist with the day-to-day. Okay, so they know what you need and they're going to help keep you on track by working with the day-to-day details, placing people in your path. I mentioned that they've incarnated before, so they have a different understanding because they have incarnated. Some of the beings that work with us have never incarnated. So these beings now, it's their role, their goal, their role is to support us with our soul's purpose. And in doing that, that's helping our guides with their purpose because they're moving up the ranks as guides and, helping in that way. And And also guides help plan out your incarnations. So they're there during the initial time that we're going to plan what we're going to come in to do, right? But then the Soul Advisory Council, that is a group of beings that they assist with the bigger picture, right? They will check in with you to review how you're doing at pivotal times. So they may come in at death. They may come in, they check with, they help us prior to incarnating and during the time in the womb. Sometimes we're going back to communicate with guides and soul advisory council in the womb before we're actually born into the body completely. Near-death experiences. That's a time when they may check in and say, you know what, it's not your time to go yet. We just wanted to bring you to this place. We're going to send you back, but you're going to be different now because you've been touched by this light and it's helped clear things that needed to be cleared so that you can move forward in a different way now as you move forward from this near-death experience.
Yeah.
You come through in sessions.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things you're talking about, and I'm totally relating to because this is my experience, right? Because I was on a certain path. I thought I was going to go to school and then become like this super powered consultant. And I had an experience. I'm going to just say that for this show. I had an experience. That experience changed me at a profoundly deep level, and I couldn't do it. But I know I got help in getting to where I am today. And you're describing how that works.
I've had many, many moments of this, right? But I didn't know how to describe it. It just would happen, and things would happen, and people would say, "Oh, you're so lucky." Well, you could say it's luck, but sometimes it's just being in the present moment and recognizing that you need to say yes to that opportunity. And then sometimes it happens so fast, it's not really even saying yes, you just do it. You just do it and you look back on it and go, wow, I'm so glad that I took that chance and did that. So they are here guiding us, and they're guiding us whether we know it or not. But when we're more aware of what's happening, then we can do it from a place of choice, connection instead of random. And then you can move forward with less karma. You clear up karma, you have less drama, you have more clarity, you understand how to read energy. We're in a Mercury retrograde right now. There's a lot of changes, schedule changes, things happening, things changing up. When you can understand that and see the signs that they're putting in front of you, you can maneuver that more smoothly without so much stress. You can live with less worry in your day-to-day life because you know that you have help available and you can ask them. You can say, I need some help with this. Can you help me with my broken toe? Can you help me? I fell. And
No
thankfully
kidding.
I'm okay, but could you help me with this? And could you take that pain away and lift that out of there? And you send it up into the light and then they lift it off of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me to fall in the situation I was in is just uncanny. That's what's so odd about it. I mean, you too.
I didn't know about yours until just now.
Oh, it just happened. And, for me, it's kind of like, well, think about this metaphorically. Both of my calves cramped. Now, cramped is not the right word. They literally both at the same time. What do they call that? It's not a cramp. It's called something else, like a Charlie horse. What do
Oh,
we,
like a Charlie horse?
yeah, it's like a really severe, you
Like an
can't
intense
move.
one.
You can't move. And I went to move, and all of a sudden, my top part of my body wanted to move. The bottom part didn't. And I was moving backwards, and I ended up just falling. And you could hear it like for 20 feet away. That's how
Wow.
hard I fell. So, how do we tap in when we have things happen, whether it's a broken foot, whether it's a windshield crack in your car? Because that's another one that, no, I'm not calling that in. But how do we go from where we are to know what kind of questions to connect with our team? How can you help us with this? How do we go about it?
Okay, so I have a little exercise I wanted to share with y'all, and I'm gonna look at my notes here. I made some notes to make sure to
Excellent.
make it smooth. And this is something that you can do at home. You can do you can do it in a safe place if you're in a park and you're on a path and you're walking, but just make sure you have solid footing and not while you're driving or operating equipment, okay? And what you can do is just first bring your attention to your breathing and just relax. And just notice your breathing. And then pay attention to your thoughts. Are they scattered? Are they chaotic? Just pay attention to your thoughts and then exhale and relax. And exhale a few times to just clear the mind chatter. Okay. Then to set the tone, you kind of step back and let your mind reveal to you 3 things that you're grateful for. Okay. Just let your mind reveal the 3 things that you're grateful for. Then you put your hand over your heart and let your heart feel the gratitude of those 3 things. Because this gratitude is going to put you in a higher level, in a higher vibration, because your guides are lowering their energy while we are lifting theirs. That's what I'm doing in a session, is lifting my client's energy so that we can connect to them and communicate that way. So hand over heart, 3 things that you're grateful for, feeling the 3 things that you're grateful for, and then imagine a brilliant white light pouring in from above, and it's moving in, down, through, and around you. And just feel that light bathing you. And then ask your guides for a clear connection and for clear guidance. So if you work with that, it takes practice to strengthen your spiritual muscles. But if you work with that, then you can start to notice the difference between mind chatter and guidance. And you can ask for something, and then you'll notice something or someone is being put in your path. And the white light is to clear your energy field, because we're beings of light, we're balls of light in our birthday suit, in our body suit. And the light clears out all that mental chatter and all that low level stuff so that we can hear. Because we are transmitters. We have the ability to hear on that higher level the guidance that's being given to us. And we can hear more clearly when we get rid of the mental chatter and then practice that. So guides can appear different ways. They could be visual, so you may see them. And so as you're clearing the mental chatter, you may visually see an image of a ball of light or a being or colors or an orb. Wise beings may appear in front of you, like Gandalf, or they may appear in a way that you would recognize them because you've shared a past life with them, like in Asia or some other place. And then guides will use humor to lighten up. They will use humor to make you laugh. I was doing a demo in class one time, and we get to the spirit realm, and the sweetest person just she had a most difficult life, and when they greeted her in the spirit realm, they took her over to a bar in the spirit realm, and they poured her a couple of shots and handed her a shot and say, "Here you go. You need one of those after the life you just lived." And like this was not like her in her personality, and this was not like what I've experienced in other sessions, but the humor of it all, because it's not like her, is what made everyone in class just lighten up and laugh, because they were all taking it so seriously. Oh my gosh, she's in the spirit realm, she's meeting with her guides, oh my gosh, and they were just being so serious. The guides came in with that moment of levity to lighten it up. Sometimes they will come in auditorily. So when you're doing this exercise, you may hear them speaking to you, or you may hear words. Like sometimes I had a client recently, words were being given to her of certain places that she was supposed to go to. She was somewhat familiar with those places, but they kept repeating themselves to the point where she recognized she was being told the same thing. And she finally went to that place and then had something happen. It can be empathetic, it could be kinesthetic,
Yeah.
so they could feel. You can feel emotions when you think about something that they're sharing with you. Like if you are with this person, you're just going to feel love. And if you are with this other person, you're going to feel not good about yourself when you're trying to make decisions in key moments in your life. And they will give you some information, but you still have free will. You still have the opportunity to choose this or not choose this.
I want to just say one thing. First of all, I want to thank you for this show because we forget what incredible power we have within us, and we forget that we are not alone. And what you've just explained is not just the what is available to us, but how we might tap into it. And, part of what I want to say, Bryn, is if people have any questions, they can go to you. If they want to know how they can go deeper in their soul connection, they can go to you. You also have a book. Take a moment and let folks know how they can find out more about you. And thank you so much for today. The timing of this is perfect. When we get a few minutes, I'll call you and tell you the whole story. But
Okay.
how do we get a hold of you? How do we work with you? Courses, certifications, all of the above.
Thanks, Dr. Pat. So I have courses coming up in April and May. It's a 2-part certification for people that want to do this work. And they can find out more about that at brynblankinship.com. I have a book, The Limitless Soul. It's got case studies of my own client sessions. And then at the end of each chapter, there are exercises that you can do to help you start to open up so that by the time you go through the book, you are opening those connections and you're strengthening those awarenesses within you of what we've been talking about today and all of the shows. And then if you're drawn to this work, then, we need more hypnotherapists in the world to transform it. So go to the website, read about the courses. You can connect with me there. You can also sign up. Some of you I've already talked with, and if you want to sign up, you can do it directly through the website. And yeah, I mean, this is the most rewarding field. It's the most rewarding work, and I love what I do. I love it every day.
Yeah. And I want to say from my experience with Bryn, you've helped me so much. I mean, it's kind of the gift that just keeps giving. And I can't wait to talk to you here about what just happened. Bryn Blankinship, I'm Dr. Pat. Thank you all for tuning us in, turning us on. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to Afterlife Teacher, Soul Lessons bringing you full circle with Bryn Blankinship and Dr. Pat. Tune into Transformation Talk Radio for more discussions of the soul's journey across different lifetimes and soul lessons gained, helping you to consider the deeper reason you are here. Bryn shares her wisdom spanning 20 years of guiding spiritual regression clients into the afterlife and connecting them with their spiritual team and soul's purpose to bring them full circle, helping you gain insight into your own soul's purpose while supporting others in fulfilling theirs. Living in partnership with your soul, with less worry and greater trust, you can be in divine flow and thrive. For more information on becoming a certified hypnotherapist and regressionist and assisting with the global transformation taking place, visit brynblankinship.com.